This is the Nilbill Man, and today we are at you. We are coming at you with a game from my childhood, a very important game from my childhood, called Pokémon XD, Gale of Darkness. The plot is basically that an evil organization known as Cypher is corrupting Pokemon by turning them into shadow Pokemon, and you have to purify the Pokemon. And I'm near the end of the game. I'm at the final boss, actually. And I will be facing off against the Grandmaster Greedle. I have purified 59 shadow Pokemon, and I'm currently in possession of 16 non-purified shadow Pokemon. And I'm going to show you my party. And I'm going to show you all the Pokemon so far that I've purified. I believe that back at my home place, there's Pokemon that can now be purified, so I'm going to go do that. I will be explaining how the two ways that you can purify shadow Pokemon. So basically, the first way you can purify shadow Pokemon is by battling with them. Building trust with them as you fight alongside them. The second way is through something called the purification chamber, and I'll explain how it works. So there's 3 Pokemon that are available to be purified. So, the first way, so basically how the purification chamber works is you put a bunch of purified shadow Pokemon inside with the shadow Pokemon, and basically you put the Pokemon alongside Pokemon that they're super effective against, and then the next Pokemon is that you put in the chamber is super effective against the next Pokemon, and so on until you reach 4 Pokemon. And the more the Pokemon are super effective against the other Pokemon, the faster the Pokemon will be pure. The shadow Pokemon will be purified. And I'll show you how. If you're struggling to understand the concept, because I'm probably not explaining it properly. I'll show when we're finished purifying these shadow Pokemon what I mean precisely. The thing about Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is that it's considerably less difficult than Pokemon Colosseum. And it's considerably less lengthy game because of the purification chamber mechanic, among other things. Though, in my opinion, Pokemon Colosseum is a superior game. It is a superior shadow Pokemon experience because I just enjoy the story and the plot more. I enjoy the atmosphere more. The target audience for Pokemon Colosseum is a little bit more closer to an adult audience / upper adolescence audience. The game is still rated E for everyone. There's nothing like it. But the plot is just overall much more serious, much more darker. I prefer it. Although from a pure gameplay perspective, I suppose, you could say I prefer this game. Alright, so I'm going to show you So obviously flying is super effective against bug, and I guess bug is super effective against dark. I didn't know that. And dark is obviously super effective against psychic. And then psychic is super effective against poison. And that's why this is at a full tempo. And then flying is super effective against grass. And grass is super effective against ground. And ground is super effective against electric. And electric is super effective against flying. And that's why this is at full tempo. And so on and so forth. So, these are all the Pokemon that I'm going to be purifying. The song is stuck in my head from all the time I've been playing with it. I'm going to mess around a bit with the tempos. To see if I can't get all of them at full tempos, because it'll be very important for an important part of the end game. Okay, so now that we have completed the side task, we're going to the main event. We're going to be facing off against Greevil. And it's going to be very hard, but I'm going to try to capture all the shadow Pokemon that it is, I believe, all his entire party. Oh, here we go. I have to purify another shadow Pokemon. I don't have to, but like, it makes things easier. I also forgot to complete the task of screwing around with the tempo in the purification chamber. I'll get that done immediately. Because I'm almost, as you can see here, I've almost achieved full tempo with all 9 of the sets. Solrock and Lunatone, to my knowledge, are the strongest Pokemon. But that's something I forgot to explain, as you'll see later on, is that this game is almost all complete double battles. So, for example, if you use Earthquake, the move Earthquake, normally it'll hit your Pokemon as well. So you either need to use a Pokemon that's super bulky, Pokemon that is not effective against, or a Pokemon that isn't affected by it at all. Or you can use the move Protect. Becomes much more useful, because when you use Protect, it can shield your Pokemon from... Alright, I forgot to screw on the tempo, because it's going to be important when we purify very specific Pokemon. And I forgot to put another shadow Pokemon in here. Okay. So, I'm going to mess around a little bit and see if we can. Do you have any ice Pokemon? Alright, this one's a shadow Pokemon. Duh, we obviously can here. We'll organize them a bit. curious what the time is. Currently like 4 something in the morning. I just couldn't sleep, so I got up. Fire and rock. Ah, here we are. Good, good, good. This'll make purifying shadow Pokemon easier. Excellent. Excellent indeed. Okay, so now we're gonna go to Gadian Port. Gadian, whatever it's called. And then we're gonna go to Dark Isle. And then we're going to battle against Grandmaster Gravel. And hopefully we can beat him. Well, we will be able to beat him. The question is, will we be able to capture all his shadow Pokemon? That's the fundamental question. Because all 6 of the Pokemon that you battle against him with are shadow Pokemon. This is an extremely difficult fight, not because the Pokemon are super high level. What I actually find is if your Pokemon are over leveled, they can take out the shadow Pokemon super easily, which is a problem if you want to actually capture the shadow Pokemon and not take them out, which I'm trying to capture them all in one field, in one swoop. Alright, so go with Umbreon and Grello for very specific reasons. So Lugia that you're going to be fighting, Shadow Lugia that I'm going to be fighting against, is both Psychic and Flying, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Psychic and Flying. But I have something called a Master Ball. So for those that aren't familiar with Pokemon, a Master Ball basically allows you to capture a Pokemon guaranteed. Because when you go to capture Pokemon, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get them on the first hit. Lots of times you have to weaken them and stuff like that. But if you use a Master Ball, it's always guaranteed to work on the first try. Pokemon cannot escape from the ball. And there's no Pokemon that I'm aware of in the Pokemon universe where there's an exception to that rule. But I could be wrong as I'm not up to date on the current generations. Okay. So let's get up there and let's get stuff done. Load. Also spend points in case the save file gets corrupted. And let's get her done. I'm a little bit nervous, not gonna lie. I don't want to make myself look dumb if I don't get the correct. Here we go. Dun dun dun. Oh, so you have even come this far. I had no idea that a mere child like you would pursue me this long. Professor Crane's data ROMs in the lair, you alone, derailed every one of our well-laid-out plans. Well, perhaps not just you, the news broadcasts at ONBS did not help Cypher's cause at all. XD001 or XD001. And this Pokemon just looks badass. Codename XD001. Now freed of all adjustments, I present to you Shadow Lugia. This Lugia is the first of the Shadow Pokemon that cannot be purified. Now let us celebrate the completion of my Shadow Pokemon in advance. Fall prey to Shadow Lugia. And the music here is really badass. Yeah, no shit. And we're just gonna end this very quickly with a Master Ball. Here we go. Here goes nothing. For some reason, I get nervous sometimes that this won't actually end up working. Even though it always works. Now comes the tricky part. How dare you, child? How dare you snag my Shadow Lugia, my one loyal subject? There's nothing left, but I will personally see to the total destruction of your Pokémon. Fall. This guy's creepy. Legendaries don't have a gender. Shit. I may actually... I forgot that legendaries don't have a gender. Fuck me sideways. I may end up, if I take this guy out in one hit, this is what I mean about having Pokemon that are overleveled. Fuck. I got taken out in one hit. One hit. Thank God that attack missed. So, here's the plan. Hopefully this doesn't take him out in one hit. Shit. Wow, that Pokemon's rather weak. If Bite does that much damage. Okay, I did take him out in one hit. So that didn't go well. At all. That was a shitty situation. I really got creamed there, and that's the interesting thing. If your Pokemon are too... I should have gone here while my Pokemon were of lower level. Because it makes it easier not to take out the Shadow Pokemon. I'll skip this dialogue quickly, because we've already been through this. Come forth, XD001. Alright, let's go. Imagine just throwing a Pokeball at this one. And it working. Very much doubt that would happen. But it'd be interesting to see what would happen. You probably only have like a 1% chance of catching the Pokemon if you did that. Not even because it's a legendary level 50. I don't know, I'm thinking about doing crazy shit because I'm nervous. I'm probably gonna have to restart this a bunch of times because I'm gonna get taken out in one hit every time. I was just thinking. So here's the plan. Put status conditions on both of them. One hit kill. Damn. What if the Glalie hits next? We're fucked. Our entire team just got taken out. That right there. There's no hope. We might be cooked, chat. This is what happens when all your Pokemon are slow. So now we just have 4 Pokemon left. We're both gonna be confused now. This is gonna suck. And by suck, I mean suck really bad. Oh, actually. No, this just means that the Pokemon can take us out in one hit. Wonderful. Well, not wonderful at all. At all. Fuck. We're done. That sealed our fate. What do we use? I don't think this is gonna work, but it's worth a shot. I can't believe that actually worked. Wow. Another shadow Pokemon. Good news is that we can use Crunch and it's super effective against it and we won't take it out in one hit. Okay, so we'll see what this does. What? No. Is that a critical hit? I should have seen whether or not it was a critical hit. I got frustrated, which wasn't really conducive to ASMR. This is what I mean when your Pokemon are at a high level like this, at a higher level like this. I should have gone when they were like level 40. That would have made things considerably easier. Let's see. What am I to do here? I have an idea for a strategy. Breloom got one-shotted. This guy got one-shotted. Let's go with this. Moltres is just so damn dangerous. Moltres is the hardest one to face off against, in my opinion. Okay, we're gonna skip through all this. And now we move on. My party is rather weak. I may end up having to take out some of their Pokemon. Here we go. So we captured this guy with a Master Ball. And we eat up the rest of them. Or we try. I think we're gonna have to cut this video short. Because I don't think I can accomplish this. But we can certainly give it a shot. Okay, so now Greeble's gonna go through his temper tantrum, and we're gonna fight. I wish he'd send out different Pokemon, make my life easier. The problem is my plan relies. This animation is rather slow. And this relies on me not getting one-shotted as well. Okay, that worked. Wow. Can't believe that actually worked. Hopefully this doesn't crit him. Shit. I used rest because why not? And if same doesn't work, we're cooked. We're cooked. There's no hope. Oh, we're done. There is no hope here. Yep, we're definitely cooked. Unless this attack misses, which it's not going to. I'm pretty sure Shadow Fire would be super effective against Camerupt as well. No, that's not a smart move. I shouldn't have brought him out. Okay, we're definitely screwed. And now it's going to take out Rhydon, so we have to restart again. Umbreon. That was my only hope to actually capture the Pokemon. We can try an Ultra Ball on this one. I don't know if it'll work. Here's the thing. I could take these guys out extremely easily, right? But I have to capture them because they're Shadow Pokemon. And that's the struggle. Okay, I can use Attract on this one. If I use Rock Tomb on Moltres, they're going to go down. That's the struggle. The good news is that Umbreon is a tank, so I can take hits like that. All my attacks are missing. One-shot kill. Oh wait, maybe not. My entire party's gonna get ratioed. Another miss. This sucks. I'm not looking to escape, so that doesn't really matter. What I'm thinking I should do Hopefully I don't crit him. So they've taken out 3 of my Pokemon. This is not good at all. I'm very lucky that Executor has missed all his attacks. And I can't use Flamethrower because that'll take out Executor in 1 hit. This really sucks. I'm really in a tragic situation here. If this doesn't work, we're definitely kaput. Legendaries are much harder to catch, so. Yeah, see? There's definitely no hope here. Moltres is going to ratio my entire party. Okay, good. Good. I'm going to use a full restore on Umbreon. Or a max potion, rather. Because I don't need to use a full restore. I don't suspect that we'll catch this without paralyzing this Pokemon. Yeah. Looks like my entire team is going to get ratioed. Especially with Executor being psychic. Although I suppose it doesn't really matter. Could try Timer Ball on Moltres. Let's see if it doesn't work. It did. Moltres was caught. But I still have the rest of my team to worry. And then I have Tauros to contend with, who has an extremely high attack. And he's not fighting. He's just normal. That doesn't help my cause at all. But this does. Missed yet again. And of course. Okay, I think I know how I might be able to swing this. But it's really iffy. It involves using revives and full restores. Or max potions, rather. And of course it didn't work. Dang it. What? That didn't do a lot of damage at all. they send out Articuno next, I'm toast. Okay, that worked. I'm done. Definitely. I got extremely fortunate there. I'll use a timer ball on Tauros and hope for the best. That actually worked. So I'm getting close to my goal. It's the question of surviving. Oh shit. Yeah, there's not much hope here. Oh no. This is the end. Okay, it's not the end. Gotta revive. And this plan results on luck. Resolves are on luck, so I'm probably not gonna get much further with it. But I can always give it a shot. Got very fortunate there. What do I want to use here? Shadow Bolt. And I'm screwed. That's the thing, Sing isn't particularly accurate. And I'm definitely screwed. Should have used the leftovers on Umbreon. I got very lucky there. I'm lucky it wasn't a critical hit. Fuck, I didn't know it paralyzed people. Damn it. I am screwed. Definitely screwed. I did not know it would paralyze. I am the unluckiest person in the world right now. Okay, I'm definitely kaput. There's no hope here. I did my best, but If I get paralyzed again, that would just be comical. Yep, I'm definitely kaput here. Alright. I'm gonna take him out. Taken out here. The fact that I got paralyzed just completely destroyed me. Yeah. Alright, folks. We're gonna end it there. I'll try again later. I got absolutely fucking ratioed there. I came close. Actually, I came somewhat close. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave a spot open in my party for Shadow Lugia. That might work. It might not work. We'll see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one Pokemon out of my party. Which one do I? Cameron was completely fucking useless. So let's take him out. Reserve a spot for Shadow Lugia. Yeah, I think we can get away with doing that. And I think I'm gonna with Umbreon. The problem is that the Shadow Pokemon are faster than me, and their moves are all super effective against me. So what I'm gonna do